Okay, so this here is like episode 1 of the whole of this whole project thing. This is just a vlog series sort of deal with my capstone project. My name is Matthew Dirkhouse. This is my capstone project, and basically it's taken one of these things, a floppy drive, and a floppy disk, which I do not have yet, and making it so that they're not useless, and so it has SATA interface, because right now it has this like proprietary almost floppy interface, and it's not great. So I went to make a video yesterday and the day before, but things got crazy, things got hectic. Wasn't able to. This is the start of it. So first thing we're going to do here is take this thing apart, because you can't understand how something works if you don't take it apart. You guys see well? I have this thing set up on like the weirdest possible, like the jankiest possible phone stand right now. It's literally clamped to the ceiling at the moment. Alright. And this is also kind of like a guide on if you want to do this yourself. Not necessarily this video, but the later videos, which will show me actually modifying this thing. I kind of have a plan in mind, but you know, plans can change. Alright. Now we just got to grab a smaller screwdriver for those 4 screws. There, or 3 screws. There, and there. Let's see. Will this one work? It's always important to keep track of your screws. Normally you'd have like a big magnetic parts tray. I just have the lid of my screwdriver case. Let me set this down so you guys can see better. Nope, that was too small actually. So let's put that back and try another one. Now I'm not gonna say like this isn't exactly a full, you know, tear down build guide, whatever, with like exact sizes on these screws, because I don't know what you guys have or what someone else might have. You might have a different kind of floppy drive. You might have a I've run out of examples. You might have a different kind of floppy drive. I don't know if it's standard, and I don't know if everyone has that exact kind of screwdriver, so if the screwdriver fits, just roll with it. Because if it fits, it can unscrew, and if it can unscrew, you're good to go. Gotta get that one out. Also, try and make sure to have a magnetic screwdriver. Makes things infinitely easier. So now that we've got those 3 screws off, looks like we're gonna have to try and take this black plastic faceplate off. And it looks like there's a couple tabs. Can you see that? There's some tabs right there, there, and there that it looks like we're gonna have to push in and take out. If we can, that is. Alternatively, I suppose we could try and like get that. Yeah, that works too. Don't go through the trouble of pulling that off till you've got that off, I guess. Because then you can just kind of push the other 2 out, because then you only have to deal with 2 of these tabs and it just comes off. So just to recap, took the faceplate off, took the bottom plate off. Now we've just got this little spring-loaded thing. Set those to the side, don't lose them, those are important. Alright, looks like that. There's the button for the mechanism. Alright, let's get into this. So, a good rule of thumb is to just, or for disassembling things in general, is to give it a good look around. Like just kind of take in, get a feel for what you're dealing with, and then see a screw, remove a screw. In this case, though, I'm going to immediately violate that rule by grabbing a different type of screwdriver and seeing if I can pry this off, because if you look up here, you can kind of see this little indentation that comes out, and then this metal piece, that's the same piece, and it's got this like tab here that suggests to me that that can come up. So let's give it a shot, and it looks like it can. So let's get two sides off, or two of those off, and it pops off. Got the top piece now. So here is most of the inside of this floppy drive. So you've got the upper, let's see if you can, okay. You got the upper and lower, if you can see that down there, read and write heads for the floppy drive. Got a nice little stepper motor right here to control the placement of them. Got a couple ribbon cables here. Spring. Looks all pretty straightforward. Let's flip it back around to the back now. Put this screwdriver bit away. And take off this piece, because if you can see, it's got 3 screws, there, there, and there. Let's see if this screwdriver is good enough for those. And it is. Because this is very small, like, that is a very tiny, focus. That is a very tiny screw head, if you can see. So, make sure not to lose those, because that would be bad. That would be very bad. Let's pull that up, stick that over there. Come on. Come on. It looks like this one here is going to be a little bit more difficult. That one right there. So I'm going to grab a slightly smaller screwdriver head. And when you're doing this, you always want to be careful not to strip a screw, because if you do that, you might never be able to get it out, and it's so annoying. Come on, you. Let's go. Come on. Looks like this one's being a bit more challenging. I stripped it a little bit. See if it'll focus. Yeah, just a little bit. Can we get it off regardless? No, looks like there's a PCB. I don't know if you can see that. Under there, there's a PCB, so we can't just pull this off. That looks like the motor for the floppy drive itself. If you can see, let me see. Do I have a flashlight around here? I do. So yeah, you can see right in there, you got the little motor for the floppy drive itself. You know, that thing that looks like a save icon for all you young people? So we may have to just gloss over that and continue. It looks, if you notice, looks like some of this PC, like this primary PCB here, is held on by little tabs. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that. By these little metal tabs there. Fortunately, none of those are trapping the PCB there. So I'm actually going to try and get that screw that was giving me trouble out again. But this time, here's a little strategy. You use a little flathead screwdriver in order to get it out. Nope, too big. Gotta get smaller. Even smaller than that? I know. It's ridiculous. In case you're curious, that's just a 1.0 flathead screwdriver. It's pretty small. Nope, that made it worse. Back to the 1.5. A lot of this is improvisational, by the way. Like, whenever you're taking something apart, you just kind of roll with it, unless you've got, like, a tutorial up or something. That screw does not want to come out. Like, if it really comes down to it, I'll go grab a pair of vice grips and see if I can do something with that, but it's a very small thing. Oh, it looks like I actually just bent my screwdriver head. Yeah, that's another danger of doing this. Sorry about that. Bent the screwdriver head. Hope I'm not going to need that anytime soon. That's unfortunate. Anyway, sorry, just a minute. My phone is dying and needs power, and I have a cable over here, but it's attached to another arm. Just a second. Bang. Okay, we're good to go. Looks like that screw wants to be stubborn. Let's move on to the other ones, come back to that later. That's always a good strategy. So now I'm just going to take out this one singular screw I see right here. There we go. And that looks like it'll release the PCB right here. Most of it anyway. There's something over here. What would that be? There is no screw over here. Let's see. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. Looks like I might have to get a pair of pliers, pry that off. That's not going to be a problem. Yeah, there we go. Never mind. I didn't have to get pliers. I just kind of bent it a little bit this way and it worked out. So let's pull that up out of that little loop there. So now the only thing holding this down is this little ribbon cable. So theoretically, okay, my plan for this is basically, oh, looks like I missed something actually. I'll tell you my plan as we take this off. So my plan is to get like a small little SD to SATA interface sort of thing, right? Like a micro SD card to SATA interface. Little doohickey thing. I know they make cards. It's like a micro SD. Like you put 6 or 7 micro SD cards in it, and it becomes basically an SSD. Just very, very slow because they're micro SD cards. Anyways, my plan is to take something like that and put it in here, and then just extend the SATA and SATA power connectors to back here, where this was originally. Come on, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can kind of see that. That's good enough. So yeah, my plan is to do that, but I recently discovered the fact that there are USB to SATA interfaces in existence. So now what I'm thinking is, what we could do is take a USB floppy drive, cut the cable, solder it to the USB to SATA, and go with that, which would keep the functionality, or like keep the, originality of it while also being SATA interface. Looks like we've got some little ribbon cables in there. You see that? How they're like, that's the back of this PCB and they're getting pulled on it. So I am going to grab a pair of pliers and pull those out. Normally I recommend you use like tweezers like these. Actually, let's try and use tweezers as we're meant to at first. You guys see that? There we go. Yeah, see, pliers, these ones, or these tweezers in particular just aren't very grippy. So I'm gonna grab these pliers here. I gotta set the light down for this though. Sorry about that. Let's just get one out and then the other. There we go. Oh, and by the way, as I understand it, this floppy drive was broken when I got it, so if you're a purist and you're like, how dare you break perfectly functioning technology? No, it was broken when I got it, okay? Chill. I can't exactly prove that, but you know what I mean. Chill. Looks like there's one more little, you see that white ribbon cable there that's kind of flexing? Looks like I'm gonna have to cut that or pull it. Hang on, because that one's not socketed, but I can just pull up the little solder traces on it. So there's that. And then now is just the one for the motor here, which, as I explained earlier, stuck behind this little stripped screw, so it looks like I'm going to have to pull that up too. Okay, and it's free. So, here's the PCB, for all who's wondering. Everything is on the back. Here's a little motor, some LEDs, some little push button indicator things. This, then the motor control over here. In case you're wondering what I was doing, I was just pulling it, so it kind of pulled up some of the traces on this too. That's fine, because we're not going to need this. Let me just get that out of the way. So now we've got the big metal husk of this thing. That screw is being so annoying right now. I'm almost wondering if I can break it off. Like that's an option, because we're not going to come back to this thing. Let's see if I can try and okay, let's ignore that for now. And let's get to this side. It looks like this is some kind of mechanism to, yes, this is to release the floppy drive. Looks like that's how it clamps down onto it. How do, that comes up, I guess. Can you see that? You see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. It's like that comes up. This seems to be attached to there just by a simple rail here, yeah. So you see this metal bar right here? That's looking like a rail that we gotta get out of there. Or get at somehow, I guess. How can we do that? Because I know I can't bend it. Rails are like stupidly strong. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Let's see if I can kind of pop it up. How am I going to show you this? See, can you even... You can't see what I'm doing. What I'm doing right now is trying to like pry around the rail to bend the metal that's holding it to pop it out of its place. Okay, here you can see this side. So you see the rail there. I'm just kind of trying to pry it upwards so that it's not in the way. Or not so that it's not in the way, so that it's so it pops out. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Let's see. This is not easy to get at. Sorry I can't show you this. It's like the most corner in the darkness sort of thing. So, can't exactly show you anything. Okay, got it. So, now, see how that rail's kind of fallen out? That's what we want to see. So now we should be able to get this little bit here mostly out of here. Yep, there we go. So that's that rail I was pulling on. I'm going to set that over there with the read and write heads of the floppy. Set that right over there. You can't see it. That's fine. Because you don't need to see it. Doesn't matter anymore. It's fine. Alright, so looks like the rest of this is like friction mounted together. And what I mean by that is there's not really screws. It's just like, or it's just all pushed in and held in with springs and the like. There is this one little screw right over here. But by the looks of things, all that does is hold this little thing down that we pulled the cable off of earlier. So it looks like this is about it as far as this goes. I'm going to just break this off. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to use my handy dandy multi-tool pliers to bend that back down, because technically speaking, you could still use it. It's a motor. Alright, that's good enough. So this looks like it's the motor for the floppy drive. This is quite a large design for a motor. You can see the coils around it with the stator here and the rotor here. I'm surprised it can just come off like that. Looks like the edges here are where the magnets are, as you can see. Actually, yeah, YouTube algorithm. See this? Floppy drive motor. There we go. You're welcome, internet. Anyways, let's see what we got here. So, it would be nice if we could maintain this part of it, like keep the fact that it spins. If that's the case, we would need a coupler, or one of those rotating coupler joint wire things that are, you can like spin it, kind of like a 3.5mm headphone jack, how you can spin it any way you want and it'll still work. But it would have to be for this, and it would have to be for however many things there are to or however many pins there are for SATA and SATA power. So that's option one, if we want to keep this. If we don't want to keep this, then we basically just have this mechanism inside this shell. So let me piece that back together. How was this? This was on top. So it would be the mechanism here for the floppy drive inside this shell, if I could put it on correctly, with this faceplate on it. And it wouldn't make any noise or anything. The drive light would, or the drive indicator light would still work because I would just route that through to a little LED over there. So that's option two. Option three is then taking a USB version of one of these and combining it with a SATA to USB adapter, which do exist. I didn't know they existed until recently, but if we were to do that, then it would literally just be out back here where it used to have the weird floppy serial connection. It would be just the SATA and SATA power, which would be very convenient. And in case you're wondering why there aren't just like normal SATA floppy drives, it's because apparently floppy drives use some kind of different protocol in terms of data than SATA does. So you can't just take a normal converter and do it that way, like just a serial to SATA converter. You can't do that because it's a different protocol, but which is why like the USB thing is my third choice, because I don't know if it's going to work or not, but if it does, that would be fantastic. So if you see this before tomorrow, or I guess like Thursday, let me know. I'm not going to be ordering anything anytime soon, but I will probably order stuff over the weekend. So if you want to have an opinion, you have until then. Otherwise, I'm going to do all three options at the same time. Actually, I'm going to do... Okay, what I'm going to do is get 2 floppy drives, one original like this. Or no, I already have this. I'm going to get the USB floppy drive, and then a couple just like blank or junk floppy disks, you know, the things that look like save icons. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to get a couple of those. And then I'm going to get the... Oh, well, the USB one will be the easiest to test, so I'm going to do that first. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to go with the putting a SATA, or putting like an SSD in here. Just having it be the shell, that is kind of disappointing. But if there's not really another option, then there's no other option. So fingers crossed for that USB one, because that would be the easiest thing, and it would be like, it's just so simple, because it's the one of those no duh moments, you know. But anyways, so I'm just like reassembling the shell of it right now, just like get a feel for what it will look like potentially. Before you go into this though, if you're planning on doing it yourself, I would highly recommend you just get some like little LED things so you can have the drive indicator light work, because that's always nice to have. A drive indicator light, that is, because otherwise you might unplug it accidentally or pull it out accidentally and lose all your stuff, which would be kind of unfortunate. But yeah, that's about it for now. Oh shoot, yeah, try not to drop your screws into the thing that you're working on. That's kind of not great, because you might not get it out. Also, try not to drop your screwdriver into what you're working on. That's happened to me multiple times before. So yeah, for now, what we're going to do is, we have the shell of it, this thing, and then I'm going to order a USB floppy drive. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Another disadvantage of the USB floppy drive is that floppy disks inherently don't have a lot of storage, which is unfortunate for this application, because, like, yeah, you got it, but what can you really use it for? That sort of thing. So yeah, there might be some high capacity ones for the new USB ones. I'm not sure, but that's why I'm looking into it. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following this if you're gonna follow it. Hopefully I'll have another video out by tomorrow, possibly of me just ordering the stuff and talking more about how we're gonna put it together. But yeah, thank you very much. See you next time.